finally got my fix of mala, Sichuan spicy food, and I'm all about it. I am obsessed with Sichuan flavored food, specifically the Sichuan peppercorn. It's got this really great numbing element to it from the molecules it has inside of it, and it pairs really well with spicy food, and it is one of the only foods that I crave regularly. And finally, after several weeks, maybe even months of not going to an Asian market, I was finally able to go, and I picked up something I never tried before. This is instant Hotpot mix, and oh my god, it is actually so spicy. Yesterday when I tried it, I could only have a few bites and I needed to wait for it to cool, and I actually also had to make white rice to go with it, which is not something I usually have to do.
So it comes in this little bag. It was just on the shelf. It wasn't refrigerated or anything like that, and the expiration date is months away, so it should be shelf stable, so you can stock up ahead of time if you want. It looks like it's distributed right here in California. It was super convenient. All I had to do was rip open the package, and there were the ingredients individually packaged on the inside. You can see here some oils and sauce and green onions, the chili flakes, and even some vermicelli. So I opened up this big package of all the different vegetables in first, and you can see that there's actually quite a lot in there. Then I grabbed my handy kitchen scissors. Definitely recommend always having a pair. It makes your life way easier. Definitely made this vermicelli a little bit easier to take out. And it looks like only a little bit now, but when it was actually fully cooked, it was quite substantial. See some really nice thinly sliced lotus root here, and that's potato. A lot of stuff going on. That is a large bamboo shoots, and there were a lot of these really long pieces. I think there's also some enoki mushroom. So really fully loaded with all sorts of great ingredients that are really classic for hot pot. Now I'm trying to get this hot chili oil out, and again, kitchen scissors, way easier. Oftentimes I'll try to be putting these ingredients in after I've already boiled water, but it's not really safe to be squeezing these packets while there's a bunch of steam and fire right under you. So definitely recommend taking your time with preparing this, since we're gonna let it boil on the stove for a little while anyway, so it's not as instant as instant noodles, but I mean, all the ingredients are right here and it makes it super easy. So here, I'm not sure what this was. I think it was just a soy sauce kind of thing. I don't really think this needed to be separately packaged, but that's fine. And these chili flakes here were actually so fragrant when I took them out of the package. I was really impressed. You could definitely tell that there were a lot of hot chilies and Sichuan peppercorns in there, and some dehydrated green onions are always a really nice fresh touch. Now here I'm just pouring in 2 cups of tap water. That ended up being a really good amount of water for this packet, but you definitely could go with more so that you can dilute the soup down a little bit, since it was actually pretty spicy, and you could stretch it out a little bit, maybe throw in, make some space so you could throw in some greens at the very end, or you could throw in some tofu here. That would work really well. So here I'm just giving it a nice little stir with the chopsticks before I cover the pot and let it bring to a boil. I really like these earthenware kind of clay pots. I bought this at a Korean supermarket. They are really, really good at retaining heat. And I love that you can just eat straight out of them, so you can cook and eat from the same container. That's one less dish you have to do. And the steam tends to come out pretty good too. So I like that there's a hole on top. There's less danger of things boiling and spilling over when you're cooking in a pot like this, as opposed to something that has a lid that doesn't allow any steam to escape. So it's finally come to a boil. I think it took a few minutes for it to get there. The clay also does take a little bit of extra time to warm up, so it does take water a little bit longer to boil than in a traditional metal pot. But once it's boiled, you can turn the heat down and give it another stir to make sure things are incorporated. And the vermicelli is actually already cooked, but I found that It was totally fine. It didn't disintegrate when it was overcooked or anything. I even had some the next morning after it was soaking in liquid the whole night, and the texture was still all right. So definitely don't have to worry too much about overcooking anything in here. You can see that even when I've turned the fire off, the liquid is continuously boiling. So that's the power of that clay pot holding in and retaining a lot of heat. And all right. This was after probably around 10 minutes of boiling. The noodles are great. The potato was also really tender. The lotus root was still a bit snappy. I personally prefer it to be softer. So I let it cook for a while longer after I recorded this clip, and it got a lot better with more time, and things soaked up a little bit more water. So everything looked a little bit fuller, which was also great. There was one thing that I was not able to identify as I was eating it, so I needed to ask for a little bit of help from my parents.
I'm thinking maybe that mystery ingredient I had is made out of konjac powder. This is the stuff that shirataki is made out of, so I think it's yam. You can actually refine it and turn it into noodles. So maybe that's what that was in there. I find it hard to believe that a company would just throw in seafood or other animal products because they're more expensive. So you would want to highlight that that's an ingredient. And a lot of Chinese people who are vegan or vegetarian are that way because of religious reasons. So there's generally a pretty good understanding that in Chinese culture, that if someone is vegan or vegetarian, it can be quite strict. I bought so many like Hotpot, SiChuan kind of things that I'm actually not really sure exactly which one this is. But out of the two products that I'm pretty sure it was either $4.18 or it was $4.99. So this is, I think, a pretty good deal. That bowl is definitely enough to serve probably 2 or 3 people with rice or noodles. You can add some fresh produce to it as well. So this is definitely a great starter and a great way to make hot pot without having to go get all these different specialty ingredients, particularly the bamboo shoot, and especially that big long chunk. Like, I'm not sure I've actually ever had bamboo shoot that was that intact. That was kind of a neat experience, although there were a few pieces that were kind of tough, and there were also a little bit of pieces of grains of sand in the food, which definitely is not very cool. But anyways, overall, A-ish. But I will be reviewing more products and maybe my grades will change, but like, definitely, if you see this kind of thing in the market, buy it, try it. It is kind of like I know we can't do tourism right now and traveling, but this will take you places. It is that interesting. Well, thank you so much for tuning into my first noodle PhD video. I won't be getting my PhD for another several months, so I'm not an official Dr. Noodle yet. I will let you know when that happens, but please like the video and subscribe if you want to keep seeing these kind of fun reviews. Let me know if you want to see more, and thank you very much. These earrings are handmade by a beader. Her name is Siobhan, and she sells her earrings, so I will put their information below so you can see it.